Hello, dear WFSB. As you're aware, we have. I'm trying to ask you nicely to fix both sides of the fake news you recorded. Because since 2001, there's been requests for me to get involved with strangers that were manipulated by police, coerced to witness fabrication roles that they don't understand the extent of themselves. All different juxtaposed natures of crime per recorded crime method. Also active with recorded methods of coercion of each age of fact treatment nature. Students of every age. Women and men of every age with area, same group through time. Recorded. Tied. Now, see, if they force you to bring up the past, because instead of allowing me to have the disciplined rape threats force sustained on the kids with further sicker predators than the one they just convicted the other day, with upskirt photos that was associated with the recorded police with rape threats against the family members and the students of the school before that, the youngest ones, with older parents tied to the school, tied to doctors, recorded with crime methods, with databases, with rackets on off campuses, putting illusions through time, wire crimes with the youngest kids. They did it, in other words, they're also recorded threatening and torturing people because they're using lies, evidences, crimes, which are in the form of many natures of crimes juxtaposed when someone's trying to counter their force-sustained acts, sex crime acts, online, in cases, sequence shifts, as communications, evidence crime roles, as communications, attaching people to fake conversations, hiding rape threats with the campus and with the building, associated with awareness of the online ones, sequence shifts to hide that with the convicted sex predator the other day in the news. They lied to you about that, recorded wire crimes, not just with Wethersfield police, interbranch police and with their families through time. Recorded because in the past, they were recorded to federal crime acts and roles, interbranch growing up. Not legally with the police that do illegal things, because this is tied specifically for evidence crimes. So they're also recorded pretending people are holding on to the past when they bring up the past, because they made the problem. They made the problem because they're sequence shifting with areas and with conversations, pretending they don't realize that because they're already recorded sequence shifting. They need to cover up lie progressions, hiding the federal criminal crimes with that. Also tied to things that the presidents have to be concerned about. They're not let one honest fact treatment nature. Excuse me, my high school recorded and confessed that they were directed to crime roles, recorded and confessed, with interbranch actors through time. Each school I went to had sequentially the same actors, men and women, associated with the on-off campus strangers who are maintained, forced, hurt by, maintained, juxtaposed on-off campus rackets with training and stuff like that, with natures of police, with crimes, with fact treatment, and then they have to hide roles that are orchestrated where interbranch actors are lying about people like me, pretending I'm holding on to the past when they brought up the past. They have physical delusions recorded in the media. They have all kinds of clinical crime roles with each age of fact treatment recorded in the media. Pretend I have relationship I had to doctors, mental diagnosis as a kid. If I act right now, any emotion, it's emotional. If I show anger, that's YouTube. That's none of your business. You see what I'm saying? You guys are animals. You guys are animals pretending. Okay, we know we're lying about this, but there's a sex predator in the news today. We know we had. Well, it's with it. That's what you're thinking in your head, because that's the mentality you're treating such serious things. Fix the fake side of news used to hide the rest of the recorded child predators into branch. They know they're recorded since I was a kid. There was when I was brought in 4th grade, 5th grade, and 6th grade. They're 3 connected people tied to house. 2 brothers over here already connected to the former dispatcher. Recorded tied with crime rolls with proven child sex predators. She used to be a former police dispatcher. Also with crime acts in nature, recorded tied to the Stop and Shops. Nothing against Stop and Shop. Nothing against the Chinese or Japanese food restaurant there. Also recorded, confessed, demonstrated, implied involved with interbranch, foreign corruption, and evidences crime rolls and database illusion stacking crime rolls and federal illusion rumor spreading crime rolls of Mike Pandoff directed through him. I only know him through recorded context or such, various ways. Barely I know him. Only per him directed, also with people else that grew up near the Samuel Dick's house, and with his brothers, and with the Yagnan brothers there. The Anthony and Daniel, I think is his name, and another one I don't know. And they also recorded and confessed to vows, pretending they had relationships and conversations with me. They never did. Eric Mendez, he came into my middle school class like one time when I was there, or 2 times, for like real quick seconds, per Joe DeMoro, who was put in my 5th grade class. Recorded and confessed with all kinds of dangers and crime roll, with a recorded and confessed tied to on-off campuses with a Mr. Apruzzi, and with but Mr. Murphy, whose daughter was recorded and confessed hurt by this. Doctors associated with drugs with kids with his daughter. I forgot her name. I barely know her. And her boyfriend was associated to grants corruption here. In other words, they brought this stuff up too. They put fake news against me in the movie, and that's why you have to take the fake news down. You fake both sides. You attach me to fake conversations, and you sequence shift. Because I never even got a chance to talk to you. You attach my family to fake conversations. You consciously come offensive and pretend that's directed criminally. You know that, and you lie about both sides. Then you're stealing their voices, and you're recorded roles with sustained sexual abuses, because you have natures telling people not to think and to ignore that stuff, and to entering the minds of kids that would have never thought about that earlier. Also facilitated internation with the other nations here. So you have with no class, the Klotz family, no class, pretending they have class as Marines. Done. Yeah, it's worse. Because of many natures of federal crimes recorded tied to these people now with a Kathy Tanzi. I don't want to be bad to girls like that, but they brought them into it. Attaching me to fake conversations about the CIA, too, on Facebook. Kathy Tanzi with a South Saviola. 2 times. So these people have been stacking. So anyways, they put this person in my grade, 4th grade, had a crime roll. All these people, O'Brien family, Andrew and Tim O'Brien, recorded and confessed involved with the people with Sandy Hook investigators and doctors, recorded with crime rolls on off campuses and with the online, with forced sustained child sexual crimes. worse than the upskirt nature just convicted the other day. We're tied to the same schools. Principal of one of them, with the rest of them recorded and confessed involved. And they were already recorded and confessed involved. We're tied to some of them. And with proven and further recorded. And then with other ones further recorded. It's either they're stacking. This is also tied to a method that's keeping the victim predators going to courts each day. Keeping victim predators blaming on others the real causes of negative value nature progressions. Hartford, Connecticut, Wethersfield, Connecticut. Tied to the worst crimes with connections between them in Wethersfield through time. And we've got people from Wethersfield get hurt outside. We have bad people in this town, Interbranch. Tied to them. My name is, for me. So then you have behavior crimes. Because you know consciously that you're pretending good is to some kind of a notion of a job in your mind that you can't express on paper because it's criminal. That's why you don't fake both sides of the news and pretend you're science. So now the interbranch actors switched names, did the same exact thing. You see? So we have interbranch actors also recorded with online ERIC, Eric KNERR, recorded with online rape threats with the court. They were recorded aware of that. Showed other stuff. And they told to ignore that. Told to make other evidence crimes, sequence shift crimes, ignore database illusion stacking, ignore stacked admitted evidence crimes with stacked all wrong, all admitted wrong lies on police reports and with narratives tied to them with no writing, so they could put it in later multi-front. No joke. Since 2000, this is tied to body dumping spots. They're recorded pretending people are with conspiracy theories when they're trying to report crime acts, when they're holding religions as nutbags, well, and not letting religion defend it, not letting the Constitution defend it. That's why they're holding it with and as rackets with natures, recorded through time. Never with stewardship of one science proper, per systemic medical corruption, doctors and investigators, and roles with what investigations are being facilitated, maintained, manifest for, to stay screened for the breaching method. Keep it blamed on other and other when it needs to hide things, and offensively knowing it's going to, like leading up to the Trade Center. Proofs to the Trade Center attack came from what was his original exploiting forced share policing, wearing how they're knaves, arguing and pretending positive and negative. Both, it's all about negative. All nations are abridged. Nature will continue to demonstrate negative value nature progressions. So the thing is, that's one of the biggest problems. Then the media brings up these topics as bait, as breaching natures, breaching weapons. They bring up the problems against women and they pretend they're taking opinions. They're only taking opinions that they can hurt with, because they're using that specifically to hide from taking complaints about acts that show offensive through time database illusion stacking. That's why Joe DeMauro, a bunch of people tied to him, they want to they want to be an actor, who they're going to be, tell to girls and stuff like that, which I never even get to meet. You know, I mean, in other words, I'm not going to have conversations. They know, they make it look like people see each other. In other words, Joe DeMauro is recorded and confessed involved with the narratives of the child sex predators, further recorded and confessed with the Wethersfield police. Also, there's a guy with a local 230 that is recorded and confessed involved with various natures of police intercity and with federal criminals proven and further recorded with kids through time. Eric Jensen's also recorded and confessed involved. Also with online police, also with area crimes, coercing women, even DCF, coercing them various ways through their prison's relationship to their extended family and themselves with shared relationships and roles with off-campus rackets that are, our states are manifest with a sickness tied to the streams of courts each day, tied to rackets that are clogging the courts to hurt innocent people and are pushing them fast to hurt innocent people. Multi-front, consciously, as raised, incapable of following the rules and of letting correlation demonstrate areas and positions. And they're all come from this. This is explained to me because before, when I was like in third grade, it was like interbranch families, low level, with a gold, a mayor gold, and then higher levels tied to a Bryan family that had confessed and demonstrated criminal uses of them as victims, but per what was set up to maintain everyone recorded use, but as victim predators, per what investigations recorded that were with federal criminals associated with their what they grew up with crimes against me, crime rolls against me, consciously or unconsciously, and unconsciously, because they're all recorded too. But so, in other words, but they don't, these are like longtime police detectives and stuff like that. And Andrew O'Brien is reportedly one of the Rocky Hill detectives in police forms, also with his family, a long police family, associated with, reportedly associated with Sandy Hook prison, or is it Thomas Ward prison, with doctors and with themselves and with other investigators and people associated with on-off campuses, policing networks used for crime methods that Ray Colo and Andrew and Tim O'Brien communicated was involved with their crime roles with the minds of a modern pastry family, criminally, and with my name, criminally, tied to what turns out to be KKK themed predators, real KKK or not, with it as the natures of roles recorded with it as child predators of various natures, also clinical, with doctors tied to courts, also with it as juxtaposed motives and natures with that. Needing, we need release from it at the same time, everyone. We need the Attorney General. And I took all the steps. And the state police are recorded criminally involved. And I tried to ask for the help. They're recorded offensive, consciously criminally involved with other police forms through time. Former federal criminals recorded and confessed involved with crimes with Eric Jensen, with Joe DeMauro, and with. So what happened? Then they put. I never had in grammar school. I never had a class with Ray Colo. I never had a class with Tim O'Brien or Andy or Brian, or the two over here, or anyone else around here. And except for then in sixth grade, and Eric Klotz, his brother Sean Klotz. I believe they have that were in the Marines or whatever. His father, they had, I don't know his name. They had a daughter involved too with some of the families involved with the problem with child predators with the courts, internation cliques with sick people with the kids, with doctors too, and tied to the crime methods and acts with the courts through time. A Vietnamese young adopted girl, and adopted into this garbage, hide behind a Marine. So especially with the Kurd, don't hide behind Marine. You reportedly dishonorably discharged from the Marines. If not, or whatever, garbage. What they did was they had Ray, he moved into the Claw family, moved in, him and his sister, associated, recorded, and confessed to involved crimes with him and people tied to him with Newington police and with Hartford, And this is also police forms with FBI, with a number of insidious standings with the area through people that are exploited by a recorded crime method that motivated the acts with the past that they brought up, and that they pretend I'm holding on to past because they put illusions in databases tied to what I'm trying to tell. So, and when I was in 4th grade, Ray Cole moved in with his sister and his family tied to other Union Rapids and positions with areas they just to get everyone's a victim predator. Recorded federal criminals that were co-defendants of a former FBI, also recorded with the Lethe family with crimes with them, a Lombardo family with crimes with them, and with the daughters of one, and with the ones with Eric Jensen recorded, confessed, involved with Joe DeMauro, and with my neighbors, with people associated with that database solution, and with their Ray Close neighbors. I mean, his relatives pretended that they met me and knew me through time. Well, Phil Claw, he just tried to film the illusion that I even had a conversation with him before. And at one time, the one time that was the closest to it, it was in front of a Yagman house. And it was years after I had let someone come to my house, show me that they understood where I lived. I let him take a camera tied to it. Eric Mendez called me on the phone, which is recorded tied to crimes with a Mayor Gold. I knew then, so we have to try to get all the recording, because these people were making, Tim O'Brien and his brother made confessions about and demonstrations of their roles with interbranch corruption that is recorded juxtaposed with like other nations criminally legalized here, and also federal criminals overt, internation, and overtly sick. And that was recorded and demonstrated with a crime method roles, with acts with a nonverbal, but demonstrated with a what's his name, Mr. Johnson, who pretended that, who made it, right when I walked in, this is what he did. He made it like a body language, like I did something wrong, and I didn't do anything wrong, and I wasn't even in his class. They only had us in there a couple times. Then he put on the board anti-establishmentarianism, and he said it was the longest word. And I'm still thinking about the one. And then, some we're all thinking, that's not, you can make it longer word than that. Like anti. But then, I don't know, he's some kind of, like they use little things like, to try to, they say, to teach, to measure. We have the whole teaching structure designed to keep reactions to that, entertaining that. You can't entertain that and intercampus police corruption, retired and confessed, tied to database solution stacking, lie progression cover-ups. Because we have areas in the states recorded criminally foreign influence through recorded intercampus database solution stacking juxtaposed within as many natures of crime at once. Also used to cultivate each age of fact treatment nature formally and informally to roles with originally propagated breach based primarily on others, just like they do with the witch trials, just like they do with slavery, not explaining the recorded breaching organized crime method that would motivate that, nothing else. No one's going to be, hey, let's be prejudiced, let's go over and get some guys and others. That's set up by intercultural racket to keep us knaves, entertaining our branches sick. No place to report crimes. You see what I'm saying? The news is fake. That's why the president can't understand why he has to keep repeating, but he doesn't understand how to react to it, because everyone was tactically pseudo-educated per breached sciences since before modern nations. The campus Marcius was criminally re-engineered. Each of the sciences tactically obfuscated. You see, the clone wasn't named the clone, it was named Victoria. Victory. Victoria. It's further discernment. Victoria and Romulus. And decipher. Story in Romulus Serenus about this. Before, as the value and beyond the value of the wall. And Remus, which is positive negative relationship to itself as the identity of nature that we have temporary possession of to be. It's further positive nature onto itself, or its negative nature onto itself, its system, but not through this value nature system, not through a car flying through space, blood cloud Elon Musk. It's not. That's why it's a red car. That's not even funny. That's not even funny, Elon Musk. Blood clot of space. That's manifest. Lethe of Hades. Should repent. Convert. Tell. What's his name? On HBO. Everyone needs to convert to Islam, to Christianity. Juxtapose the energy's wall. What's that mean? That means the full course that is positive progression here, instead of positive progression through negative value nature, which is only positive to it if it's pushed away from the value of here, which is closer to the inherent nature, volume of space's identity greatest. As yet, the pendulum will swing, let's not forget. It's bigger than each bomb. The skies will pull. The way to fix is to understand the Trinity's nature, a relationship, then onto the next Trinity, onto the connected cells. The Trinity, overall up, overall right to left, and overall left to right. And that's in demonstration of 3 dimensions. As positive relationship, unto itself. I rushed to do this thing, but I have. As positive relationship onto itself. I forgot what the hell. Snowing out. Jingle bell. I can't sing. Some reverb, some rap. I don't have time because there's recorded, still active since 2000. There are people that recorded with federal criminals from the context of a trade center attack tied to Connecticut. Federal criminals that were defendants of a former director of the FBI, with a whole bunch of them and their friends, with crimes with kids in my class growing up, with people associated with DeMoro, that was put in my 5th grade class, and then Ray, the Claw family, that come in when I was in 4th grade, and the one tied to them down the street when I was in 6th grade, put in my 6th grade class. But you're just in a class, you don't have nothing to do with these people. A few times I see this person when I was in 6th grade. And then in middle school, the Joe DeMoro that they had forced me to be in a class with them when I was in 5th grade, that had nothing to do with them. But then they confessed. He was like wanting me to make up all these stories for him, for some girl or something like that. Like, in other words, they were, and also juxtaposed all kind of confessions about his brother, and with gangs and with drugs and stuff like that. That's where they but it was like where the policing and the gangs undercover or whatever, but they're also real with crimes, all different natures, tied to cases. See, I shouldn't have shown him too. I recorded him because I was sick of this dude calling me. I showed him I recorded him because he was talking about mugging women and stuff like that. Joe DeMoro. And it was recorded, confessed. It was demonstrated that it was tied to the people associated with Debbie Gold. I don't know anything, but whatever. It was like a nature of people that I didn't know, but they were demonstrating. But they're even when someone's lying to you, everyone's lying to you, but you can tell truths between lies. You say, well, why do you hang around with someone who's lying with you, dude? There's a pond across the street from my house. If you're in the suburbs, right? Where the hell are you gonna go? You know what I'm saying? Where the hell are you gonna go? In other words, and that's used by a fact treatment nature racket, where they're gonna attach everyone to a racket where Joe DeMoro was recorded and confessed by my high school. A Kerr family was recorded and confessed by my high school. A Klotz family was recorded and confessed by my high school, and with coaches of teams and with their kids and with the principal's kids, principal's daughter. They used their coerced women per crime methods recorded, where they send police both individually, coupled, and mass group, all for different connected obfuscations of federal crimes stacked stacked multi-front with Weathersfield Police, interbranch police databases, military police databases, all kinds of federal crime laws, forging names with doctors forging names of other doctors. There are kids with crimes with them leading up to that. There with their patients, crimes with federal criminals with the schools, proven and further recorded. Sex predators with the highest positions in the schools, further recorded and confessed, tied to interbranch actors facilitating this, offensively pretending I'm talking about the past, holding out the people in the past as a means to pretend I had relations to the people in the past that I didn't. I was only ever polite to Christine Bedard. She was in a cooking class I was in, and with another cooking class. I took it twice because I had to go back again. I didn't have to. I could explain that, but it was tied to such a thing with these three in the O'Brien family, tied to what I'm trying to explain, was his recorded tied to the active in the past crime acts to show me what they're active, show everyone what they're active, recorded with sustained crimes against each age of fact treatment nature, also used in the churches with this group and the other interclass. Ray Cloyce and Paul Zano. Whenever I saw them, like they would be acting like, and I didn't understand it, but it's like I knew I never used this. No, but you know, you can hear me. You could, you know, they record stuff too, but they try to get me to be say Jew. Like, what do they say? They use it as a verb. For real, they say you don't be a Jew, you know, like that. But they say they use it as a verb now too. But these are people doing that because these are criminal justice rackets, cliques, with sick doctors, with sick judges, with kids through time, with sick investigators with them, recorded. They have mental diagnosis where they pretend people have paranoia as a crime method consciously used to criminally form persuasion of opinion natures. They have Russian psychology doctors and investigators with the same crime racket. This is a crime racket that must be understood, recorded, involved with Joseph Mengele. Same time there as a fake site. It was already entrenched into our nation here since before our founders' births. This racket where branches were not motivated. See, this is why, this is the nature of crime. A fact treatment knaves, a bridge constitution that needs to pretend that they believe that witch trials were motivated by drugs instead of the breaching organized crime method laws against fact treatment nature, which were way beyond just color. Everyone was so scared because everyone was a slave. The color was instituted because of the nature of how they organized means to leverage all of Africa and all of Europe and all of Asia and all of America, blaming criminally re-engineered sciences and ancient proper reception of correlation nature, blaming that sabotaged all areas and states of nations on others, because they knew how they engineered it, because they had first witnessed what criminal enterprises did when they still understood how to cause evolution. So they were not more knowledgeable about the nature of organized crime, the criminal citizens' nature. But then, because they knew how to cause evolution by being finite value, active value, and progressively positive onto itself value, while at the same time using the overall nature up, using the streams, using native dreams. Look on YouTube.